Hi there! My name is Lily, and today I'm going to share an exciting story with you. My very first day working at a coffee shop. If you've ever felt nervous about speaking English at work, don't worry, you're not alone. I was scared too, but every challenge is an opportunity to grow. And guess what? Today you're going to learn some useful English words and phrases you can use at work, in a coffee shop, or even while traveling. Before we start, here's a quick tip. Don't forget to turn on the subtitles and repeat the sentences out loud with me. Speaking is the best way to improve your pronunciation. In this story, you'll hear me talking to customers, taking orders, and learning from my manager, Mr. Brown. Pay close attention to the words and phrases I use. They're super helpful. Oh, and here's a little challenge for you. Try to repeat at least 3 sentences from today's story. Are you ready? Let's begin. It was a sunny Monday morning when I arrived at Sunny Café for my first day. The smell of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, and the soft chatter of customers created a warm atmosphere. With my apron tied around my waist and my notepad ready, I stepped behind the counter. And my adventure began. The sun was shining brightly through the large glass windows of Sunny Café. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee mixed with the sweet scent of pastries filled the air. Customers chatted softly, their voices blending into a calm background hum. I stood behind the counter, my brand new apron tied tightly around my waist and a small notepad in hand. I took a deep breath. "Okay, Lily, you can do this," I whispered to myself. Just then, Mr. Brown, the cafe manager, approached me with a warm smile. He was tall with a neatly pressed white shirt and a kind expression on his face. "Good morning, Lily." "Are you ready for your first day?" he asked. Mr. Brown. "I'm a little nervous, but I'm ready," I replied honestly. "Don't worry, Lily. Everyone feels nervous on their first day. Just remember to smile, listen carefully, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Oh, and always repeat the customer's order back to them. It helps avoid mistakes. Got it?" I said, nodding quickly. Mr. Brown gave me a quick tour of the counter area, the espresso machine, the pastry display, the cash register, and the small clipboard where special orders were written down. "Here's a little cheat sheet," he said, handing me a laminated card. "It has some useful phrases you can use when talking to customers. Give it a quick read and you'll be just fine." I glanced at the card. "Good morning. How can I help you today? Would you like anything else? One moment, please." I repeated the phrases softly to myself, trying to remember them. As I practiced, the cafe bell above the door chimed. A tall man in a dark coat walked in and approached the counter. "Okay, Lily. First customer of the day," Mr. Brown said, stepping back to let me handle it. I froze for a moment, clutching my notepad. My heart was racing, and a tiny voice in my head said, "What if I mess up? What if he doesn't understand me?" But then I took a deep breath, put on my brightest smile, and stepped forward. "Good morning, sir. How can I help you today?" I said, my voice slightly trembling. The man smiled back and replied, "Good morning. Can I have a cappuccino, please?" The words felt like a puzzle I had to solve, but I managed to respond, "Yes. One cappuccino. One moment, please." I turned to Mr. Brown for reassurance. He nodded encouragingly. "Well done, Lily. Keep going," he whispered. And just like that, I felt a little spark of confidence grow inside me. The sound of the espresso machine hummed behind me as I carefully grabbed a cup. My hands felt a little shaky, but I kept repeating in my head, "Cappuccino, cappuccino, cappuccino." Mr. Brown stepped beside me, his voice calm and steady. "Take your time, Lily. Remember, it's okay to double check with the customer." I turned back to the man at the counter with a polite smile. "Sir, just to confirm, one cappuccino, right?" "Yes, one cappuccino. Thank you," he said, his smile reassuring me. I carefully prepared the drink, trying to remember each step Mr. Brown had shown me earlier. Steam the milk, pull the espresso shot, pour it carefully. A little foam spilled over the edge of the cup, but it still looked pretty good. Here you go, sir. 1 cappuccino? I said as I placed the cup on the counter. Thank you so much. Have a great day. The man replied before heading to his seat. I let out a quiet sigh of relief, and Mr. Brown patted my shoulder. Great job, Lily. You handled that very well. Remember, practice makes perfect. But before I could fully relax, the bell above the door chimed again. This time, a woman in a bright yellow scarf walked up to the counter. Good morning. Can I have an iced latte with almond milk, please? She asked cheerfully. My smile faltered for a split second. Iced latte? Almond milk? I glanced at the menu board behind me, trying to remember the steps for an iced latte. Seeing my hesitation, Mr. Brown gave me a quick nod. Lily, it's okay. Take your time. If you're not sure, just ask her to repeat. I turned back to the customer. Could you please repeat that? You'd like an iced latte with almond milk? Yes, exactly, she said with a friendly nod. Got it. 1 iced latte with almond milk. 1 moment, please. I moved to the espresso machine again, but this time I felt slightly more confident. I followed the steps carefully. Espresso shot, cold milk, ice cubes. As I handed her the drink, she smiled. Thank you, this looks perfect. You're welcome. Have a great day, I replied, feeling a genuine sense of accomplishment. Mr. Brown clapped his hands together. Lily, you're doing fantastic. You repeated the orders, asked for clarification, and stayed calm. That's exactly what I wanted to see. For the next hour, customers kept coming and a family ordering hot chocolates, a student asking for a green tea, and an older gentleman who just wanted a black coffee. With every interaction, I felt myself getting a little better, a little more confident. But then a challenge appeared. A man with a thick accent walked up to the counter. He spoke quickly and softly, making it hard for me to understand him. Can I have, 1 flat white and... He paused, looking at the menu. I leaned forward slightly and said politely, I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please? He repeated, this time more slowly. 1 flat white and a blueberry muffin, please. Got it. 1 flat white and 1 blueberry muffin. 1 moment, please. This interaction taught me an important lesson. It's okay to ask someone to repeat themselves if you don't understand them the first time. As the man left with his drink and muffin, Mr. Brown smiled proudly. Lily, you're learning so quickly. You're asking questions when needed, repeating orders, and serving customers with a smile. Keep it up. The morning passed by in a blur of espresso shots, warm pastries, and friendly conversations. Each interaction made me feel more comfortable, and each mistake became a lesson. But just when I started to feel truly confident, something unexpected happened. The cafe had settled into a calm rhythm. The morning rush was over, and I felt like I was finally getting the hang of things. My movements behind the counter were smoother, and my voice was steadier when speaking to customers. But then the bell above the door rang again, and a woman in a green coat approached the counter. She had a warm smile but spoke very quickly. Hi, I'd like a double shot oat milk cappuccino, extra foam, no sugar. And oh, can you add a sprinkle of cinnamon on top? My brain froze for a moment. Double shot, oat milk, extra foam, cinnamon? I glanced at Mr. Brown, who was organizing cups nearby. He caught my eye and gave me an encouraging nod. Take your time, Lily, he said softly. I took a deep breath and smiled at the customer. Just to make sure I got it right. 1 cappuccino with 2 shots of espresso, oat milk, extra foam, no sugar, and cinnamon on top? Exactly, she said with a grin. 1 moment, please, I replied confidently. I turned to the espresso machine, carefully measuring 2 shots of espresso and steaming the oat milk. Foam lots of foam. I sprinkled a pinch of cinnamon on top and placed the cup on the counter with both hands. Here you go. 1 double shot oat milk cappuccino with extra foam and cinnamon. The woman took a sip and smiled. This is perfect. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Have a great day. As she walked away, Mr. Brown clapped his hands together. Lily, that was fantastic. You stayed calm, repeated the order back to her, and delivered exactly what she asked for. That's the key communication. I felt a rush of pride. This small challenge had been a big moment for me, and I realized that asking questions and staying calm could solve almost any problem. Mr. Brown gave me a thumbs up and said, "Now let's go over some of the phrases you used today." Mr. Brown leaned against the counter with a warm smile. Lily, let's take a quick moment to review what you've learned today. These phrases are super useful, not just here at the cafe, but in many situations where you need to communicate clearly in English. He picked up the laminated cheat sheet he had given me earlier and pointed at the first phrase. Phrase 1, just to confirm. Example, just to confirm 1 cappuccino with oat milk and cinnamon. Why it's useful. It helps avoid misunderstandings and shows the customer that you're paying attention. See, Lily? You repeated the order and the customer felt reassured. Always repeat when you're not sure. I nodded, scribbling a note on my notepad. Phrase 2. Could you repeat that, please? Example, could you repeat that, please? I want to make sure I understood you correctly. Why it's useful. It's polite, and it lets the other person know that you care about getting things right. Lily, don't ever feel embarrassed to ask someone to repeat themselves. It's much better than guessing. I smiled, remembering how asking the man with the flat white to repeat his order had helped me. Phrase 3. 1 moment, please. Example, 1 moment, please. I'll check that for you. Why it's useful. It gives you time to think or double-check something without making the customer feel ignored. This one's your safety net, Lily. Use it any time you need a second to think or prepare. We practiced repeating each phrase together. Now, Lily, let me give you one final tip, Mr. Brown said, leaning closer. When in doubt, smile. A smile can solve more problems than you think. I nodded again, feeling the weight of his words sink in. All right, let's put these phrases into practice. Are you ready for one more challenge, Lily? Absolutely. I said with a confident smile. Mr. Brown clapped his hands together. All right, Lily. Now it's time to practice. Let's go over some scenarios so you and our viewers can sharpen these skills together. He turned to the camera with a friendly smile. Okay, everyone watching at home, this is your turn too. I'll give you a situation, and I want you to think about how you'd respond. Ready? Let's go. Scenario 1. A customer walks up to you and says, "Can I have a green tea with honey, please?" How would you respond? Suggested response. 1 green tea with honey. 1 moment, please. Mr. Brown nodded. Great. Simple, clear, and polite. Now let's try another one. Scenario 2. A customer is speaking very quickly, and you didn't understand their order. What would you say? Suggested response. I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please? Fantastic. Remember, asking someone to repeat is never a bad thing. It shows you care about getting it right. Scenario 3. A customer ordered a cappuccino, but you want to double-check their order before preparing it. What would you say? Suggested response. Just to confirm 1 cappuccino, right? Mr. Brown clapped again. Well done, everyone. These phrases are your secret weapons for clear communication. He turned to me. Lily, you've done an amazing job today. Are you ready to wrap things up with our final thoughts? Yes, Mr. Brown. Let's do it! As the sun began to set outside Sunny Café, I looked around and realized something important. Every interaction, every smile, every repeated phrase had taught me something new. Mr. Brown placed a hand on my shoulder. Lily, today you learned more than just how to serve coffee. You learned the power of clear communication, patience, and confidence. I turned to the camera with a warm smile. And you did too. Today we practiced useful phrases like, could you repeat that, please? One moment, please, and just to confirm. Remember, every small step counts and every mistake is just a lesson in disguise. Mr. Brown nodded. Keep practicing, keep smiling, and most importantly, don't be afraid to try. I waved goodbye. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you soon, and keep speaking English naturally. The screen faded out with soft background music, leaving the words, "Every day is a chance to learn something new." See you in the next story.